We will wait for 1 minute so that we will get to know whether the audio quality is good or not. We will wait for 1 minute so that. Okay, as I can see, right now I can clearly hear the voice. Okay, so I don't think there are any issues with the audio quality is there. Okay, so we will directly start. Okay, so first of all, good morning, all of you. Welcome back to our next part of the origin of life. That is the sixth part and the last part of this origin of life. Okay, so basically this is the first six lectures of the first point of the evolution. Okay, see one thing. Okay, एक बार तो मुझे बताना है आप सबको कि whatever these lectures are there ना, ये जो कुछ भी lectures है, ये जो paid batch है मेरा. Okay, whatever my paid batch is there, this free YouTube lectures are the short version of that paid batch. Okay, उसी paid batch की short version. Okay, okay. So whatever the content which you are seeing here, it's not complete. Okay, तो बहुत लोगों को those who will directly see these lectures, वो ये सोच सकते हैं कि I have explained this in very short. Okay, whether it will suffice for UPSC or not. ठीक है, जो कुछ भी ये short lecture directly देखेंगे without any context, तो वो ये सोचेंगे कि ये इतना कम आंसर यूपीएससी के लिए जो कंप्लीट होगा या नहीं होगा. ठीक है, सो ये हमेशा मैं बताता रहूंगा कि ये जो शॉर्ट वर्जन है ओके ऑफ माय पेड बैच. ओके, if you want to join for the paid batch, you can join my application on the application or my website. Okay, or you can just this purchase my full notes, that is the 4,000 rupees notes package, and then you can do this YouTube free lecture series. Okay, so this is the previous year question which we already seen. In the last lecture we have seen different things. Okay, we have seen till the biogenesis. Okay, for the till the generation of the life. Okay, so we have seen that how the first life was also formed. So in that we have seen this Horowitz concept. Okay, okay, Horowitz concept. What was the case? What he was saying? He was saying that the these membranes or the shells are going to form around the nucleoproteins, and then the first living cell is going to be formed. Okay, what was the opening concept was there? Opening concept said, पहले ओपनिंग कंसेप्ट क्या बोला कि पहले तो शेल फॉर्म होगी और उसके बाद में उसके अंदर न्यूक्लियोप्रोटीन फॉर्म होंगे. ओके, हॉरोविट्ज कंसेप्ट में क्या बोला गया है कि पहले दिस डिफरेंट न्यूक्लियोप्रोटीन्स है वो एक दूसरे के करीब आ जाएंगे. ओके, दे विल फॉर्म अ काइंड ऑफ क्लस्टर. ओके, और वो न्यूक्लियोप्रोटीन्स के अराउंड एक शीट फॉर्म होगी. ओके, सो दिस मे बी टू सिनेरियोस थ्रू विच the first living cell has been formed. Okay, ऐसे दो सिनेरियोज हैं. ओके, सो वी हैव सीन टिल नाउ. ओके, अभी आज के लेक्चर में हमें नेक्स्ट पार्ट करना है. ओके, एंड वी विल कंप्लीट दिस ओरिजिन ऑफ लाइफ. ओके, सो वी हैव सीन डिफरेंट पार्ट्स. ओके, वी हैव स्टार्टेड फ्रॉम द सिंथेसिस ऑफ अमीनो एसिड. ओके, हमने ये पूरा ओरिजिन ऑफ लाइफ स्टार्ट किया था अमीनो एसिड के सिंथेसिस के साथ. ओके, सो कीमोजेनी हमने देखा था. राइट, उसके बाद हमने देखा था डिफरेंट दिस डेवलपमेंट ऑफ कॉम्प्लेक्स मॉलिक्यूल्स. ओके, अगर अमीनो एसिड फॉर्म हुए, कार्बोहाइड्रेट फॉर्म हुए, हाइड्रोकार्बन्स फॉर्म हुए, if the basic building blocks have been formed, okay, in the chemogeny, then there will be the next step, that is this called biogeny. Okay, so biogenesis में क्या होगा? What will happen in the biogenesis? In the biogenesis, the actual life will be formed. Okay, but in that in the this only there was also this oxygen revolution was also there. Okay, biogenesis में ही था. Okay, see, initially there was no oxygen was there on the planet. Okay, direct the oxygen which is in this large quantity. Okay, it was proposed that it is not in that much quantity. Okay, पहले जो ऑक्सीजन है इतने बड़े क्वांटिटी में प्लैनेट पे था ऐसा नहीं बोला जाता. ठीक है, शुरू में whatever the earlier or the primitive atmosphere was there we have already seen. ठीक है, जो primitive atmosphere है जो हमने ऑलरेडी देखा है, ये बोला जाता है कि primitive atmosphere में क्या क्या है? अमोनिया, मीथेन, हाइड्रोजन, ओके, एंड वाटर वेपर. देयर आर डिफरेंट gases or components were there, but they were reducing in nature. Okay, but the oxygen's revolution when occur. Okay, कब oxygen revolution होगा? Okay, see, we have seen some of the bacteria. Okay, we have seen in the last lecture of this development or evolution of aerobic phototrophs, right? So those organisms or those plant bodies which are going to generate the oxygen. Okay, so that oxygen will fill the entire atmosphere with this whatever the amount of oxygen which we are seeing right now. Okay, actually it is said that whatever the oxygen which we are seeing, it is almost has been deposited. Okay, वो कब से deposit हो रहा है? Okay, it had been deposited right from almost 2 billion years ago. 2 बिलियन सालों से ऑक्सीजन हमारे एटमॉस्फेयर में जमा हो रहा है. ओके, द ऑक्सीजन इज गेटिंग डिपॉजिटेड इन आवर एटमॉस्फेयर सिंस ऑलमोस्ट 2 बिलियन ईयर, 2 बिलियन ईयर्स. ठीक है. See, before starting this lecture series, actually I had a question from one of the student. Okay, and his question was very general kind of question was there. Okay, and उसने मुझे ये पूछा था, he has asked me, sir, whatever the arboreal animals are there, okay, if the plants are releasing carbon dioxide in the night, okay, अगर वो रात में कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड रिलीज कर रहे हैं plants, then how the arboreal animals lives on those plants. Okay, उसने ये क्वेश्चन पूछा था कि सर जो रात में जो पेड़ पे रहने वाले जो प्राणी है, राइट, एनिमल्स है, अगर रात में जो प्लांट है वो कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड ही रिलीज करता है तो वो कैसे वहां पर जैसे जीता है, राइट, हाउ और ही और शी इज अलाइव देयर. ठीक है. Actually, I have told him, okay, that your the question is very directly बोला कि nonsense kind of questions ही है. ठीक है भाई. See, if you are reading something, okay, if you are reading at this level of UPSC ना, ये तो बात है. Okay, just not to appease you, आपको सिर्फ appease करने के लिए मैं बहुत सी चीजें नहीं बोलूंगा. Okay, see, if you are going for the UPSC zoology ना, the first thing you should go is all the books from the standard 6 to standard 12. Okay, आपको स्टैंडर्ड 6 से लेकर स्टैंडर्ड 12 तक पूरा बायोलॉजी आना चाहिए. ओके, अगर आप यूपीएससी लेवल का प्रिपरेशन कर रहे हैं जूलॉजी का. ठीक है. Because see, if you are thinking in this way na, that this whatever the animals are there who are actually living on this plant the plants, okay, they will just die because of the carbon dioxide released by the plants. Okay, अगर ऐसी आपकी थिंकिंग हो रही है, then you really required a in depth knowledge of biology. ठीक है. दिस विल नॉट बी द केस विद एवरीवन. मुझे पता है कि हर एक के बारे में ऐसी चीज नहीं होगी. बहुत सारे लोगों को कुछ ना कुछ बेसिक अंडरस्टैंडिंग होगा जो बायोलॉजी का या फिर जूलॉजी का, ओके, या फिर प्लांट बायोलॉजी का. ठीक है. बट स्टिल आपको वो क्वेरी है तो मुझे आंसर करना था, इसलिए मैंने वहां पर एक्चुअली आंसर करना चाहता था उसको. सो आई हैव आस्क्ड हिम टू आस्क दिस क्वेश्चन इन दी दिस लाइव लेक्चर. ठीक है. तो लाइव लेक्चर में मे भी उसको थोड़ा बुरा लगा. ठीक है. बट अगर वो लेक्चर का जो कॉन्वर्सेशन है वो भी मुझे नहीं मिल रहा है. ठीक है. सो ही कैन आस्क मी अगेन. ठीक है. So see, basically क्या है, that doesn't mean the plants are releasing carbon dioxide in the night, okay, and if they are releasing oxygen in the day, that doesn't mean कि carbon dioxide की वजह से you will die, okay, or the animals which are living on the plants will die. Okay, see, that the oxygen which is currently being contributed by these plants into the atmosphere, okay, even if we just cut that entire this plant in that particular area, okay, it will not be the case that the oxygen will get over, or it will not be the case that there will not be oxygen in that particular area. Okay, see, ultimately there is already a very vast this what you can say, a large proportion of atmosphere is already filled by the oxygen. Okay, आपको पता है हर एक different gases का composition है. ठीक है. So it is going to be almost stable for some time. Okay, ऐसा नहीं है कि suppose you have planted this tree and within 1 year the atmospheric this composition of oxygen will suddenly change. Okay, this is not the case. Okay, it is also not the case that if you just cut down all the trees, the atmospheric composition of the oxygen will just change immediately. Okay, see, obviously there will be effect if you are not going to plant the tree. Okay, it's because whatever the oxygen which is being contributed by this plant, it is going to get decreased. Okay, and ultimately if we just cut all the trees, at one point there may be a shortage of oxygen. Okay, कभी ऐसा चीज आ भी सकती है कि वहां पर एटमॉस्फेयर में कोई ऑक्सीजन भी ना हो. ठीक है. बट the only the carbon dioxide which is just released by the plant, it is not going to mean that it's going to kill that animals over there. ठीक है. अगर plants carbon dioxide release कर रहा है, that means what? Okay, the oxygen is there surrounding in the surrounding in to environment. Environment के surrounding में तो oxygen है ही ना, right? So that was his understanding was there, right? So this amount of oxygen, okay, जो almost 20-21% का जो amount of oxygen है which is there in our atmosphere, okay, it is just the what we can say, it is not just the role of these plants or aerobic phototrophs within 1 or 2 years. Okay, it has been almost the work of almost 2 billion years. Okay, so 2 billion years में जितना oxygen form हुआ है, okay, which is almost 21% of this atmosphere this content. Okay, 21% जो है ऑक्सीजन में. ओके, तो इट्स नॉट गोइंग टू गेट ओवर जस्ट इमीडिएटली. ऐसे किसी एक दो दिन में, एक दो साल में, 10-20 साल में खत्म नहीं होने वाले हैं. ठीक है. सो डोंट वरी अबाउट दैट, राइट. So this oxygen revolution or this generation of oxygen was started at that time, and when it was started, that oxygen positively reacted with the atmospheric this content or the primitive atmosphere, and whatever the earlier reducing atmosphere was there, reducing nature में जो atmosphere था, now it has become what, oxidizing because of the oxygen's presence. Okay, so because of the oxidizing nature of that oxygen, there is different going to be formation of different gases. Okay, जैसे कि नाइट्रोजन हुए, okay, this carbon dioxide होगा, ठीक है, even the formation of the other water molecules, okay, even the consumption of such methane जो ammonia. See, earlier we have seen that in the primitive atmosphere that the large proportion were was of what, of this methane. Okay, बहुत सारा proportion किसका था, methane, ammonia. Okay. These were in the large proportion in the primitive atmosphere, right? But right now, whether we find this methane and ammonia in large proportion in the atmosphere, okay, nahi. Right now, these nitrogen, okay, oxygen, carbon dioxide are in larger proportion, right? So how that become, how it actually this became possible? Because that oxygen which was generated, okay, that oxygen actually converted different gases like methane into carbon dioxide, ammonia into nitrogen, okay, ऐसा conversion हुआ है बहुत से gases का. So that's why we don't have that amount of ammonia or that amount of methane in current atmosphere. अभी का जो atmosphere है ना, इसी के इस oxygen की वजह से ही, okay, because of this oxygen revolution only, we don't have this large amount of this methane and ammonia in the present atmosphere. Okay, because if the ammonia would have been present at larger quantity in present atmosphere, okay, it would have been difficult for us to survive. Okay, ammonia हमें this carcinogenic this effect देता हमारे lungs पे, okay, so it would have been become कुछ ना कुछ और difficulties आ जाती methane की वजह से, ammonia की वजह से, right? So methane तो already explosive है, ठीक है, so that would create problem. Okay, that so that is why whatever the gases were there, which were there in the primitive atmosphere, okay, they were converted into these different carbon dioxide, nitrogen. ठीक है, so ये जो बहुत सारे gases जो है वो ऑक्सीजन की वजह से क्या हो गए, कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड नाइट्रोजन में कन्वर्ट हो गए. ठीक है, now whatever this different composition were there, it was actually conducive. Okay, ये जो नया composition बना वो बहुत से नए life को conducive था, right? So it has formed different type of bacteria like the methanogens, methane produce करने वाले भी उनको produce हो गए. Okay, halophiles और salt loving भी form हुए. Okay, and then these thermoacidophiles भी form हुए. Okay, those who are living at the atmosphere also, and even the salts also, right? So there were different type of formation of bacteria were there, okay, earlier. Now once this biogeny occur, अगर एक बार biological life बनी, okay, now the next phase, okay, next phase क्या है, next phase is to formation of the cognogeny, okay, or the evolution of the cognogeny. Okay, next step जो है वो क्या है, evolution of the cognogeny. Okay, now what is going to happen in the cognogeny? Okay, cognogeny में क्या होगा? See, whatever these different cells are going to be formed, okay, there is going to be a kind of interactive interaction will be them. Okay, उन दोनों के बीच में बहुत सारे interactions होंगे. Okay, living cells में interactions होंगे. Okay, and they will give rise to the formation of different other cells and different behaviors. Okay, cognogeny में, ठीक है. Now, for example, क्या है? See, this is one of the original host cell. Okay, now it has came in contact with other aerobic bacteria. Now, when these aerobic bacteria came into contact with the host cell, they get enclosed, or engulfed into this host cell. Okay. What happened now is, after millions of years of the stay of this aerobic bacteria into this host cell, this aerobic bacteria became an integral part of this particular host cell. ठीक है. See, एक ऐसा समझ लो कि 200-400 साल, 200-400 मिलियन ईयर्स, ओके, ये जो एरोबिक बैक्टीरिया है कंटिन्यूअसली इट वाज इन कांटेक्ट विद दिस पर्टिकुलर होस्ट, ओके, व्हिच वाज ओनली हैविंग डीएनए इनटू इट. ठीक है, सो बिकॉज ऑफ दिस लॉन्ग एसोसिएशन व्हाट हैपेंड, ओके, क्या हुआ बिकॉज ऑफ दिस लॉन्ग एसोसिएशन, दिस एरोबिक बैक्टीरिया बिकेम अ परमानेंट रेसिडेंट, ओके, और एरोबिक सिम्बायोंट ऑफ दैट होस्ट. ओके, तो उन दोनों के एक सिम्बायोटिक रिलेशन डेवलप हुआ उन दोनों के बीच. ओके, so ultimately during evolution what was the next step, these aerobic symbionts converted into this mitochondria. Okay, aerobic symbiont जो है वो mitochondria में convert हुए. ठीक है, then we have the formation of the first eukaryotic animal cell. Okay, so for the formation of first eukaryotic animal cell, whether only mitochondria were required? No. See, there were other requirement were also there, other like the endoplasmic reticulum का requirement था, right? Then it was the requirement of the different nuclear membranes. Okay, तो ये वाले जो membranes है, or whatever these membranes are there, okay, from where these membranes are formed, see, here you can see, this was the host cell ना, these host cells cell membrane start to invaginate internally. Okay, ऐसे invagination form हुए. ठीक है, Now these invaginations only leads to the formation of nuclear membrane also and even the endoplasmic reticulum structures also. Okay, और different intracellular जो structures है उनको इसी मेम्ब्रेन ने फॉर्मेशन दिस ये दिया, बर्थ दिया और जन्म दिया, ठीक है, और इसी मेम्ब्रेन से क्या हुआ, डिफरेंट ऑर्गेनेल्स फॉर्म हुए, ठीक है. Now one of these cells got into contact with the cyanobacteria. Okay, कुछ ऐसे इसके सेल में क्या हुआ, some of these cells came into contact with the cyanobacteria, right? Now cyanobacteria came in contact with some of these cells. Okay. Now what happened during the evolution? These cyanobacteria converted into the chloroplast. Cyanobacteria क्या बना? Chloroplast बना. Okay. Now when that chloroplast formed, this cell was known as eukaryotic plant cell. Okay. उस cell का फिर क्या बना? Eukaryotic plant cell बना. ठीक है. So here see prokaryotic cell was already formed. Okay, without nucleus. Okay. Here the nucleus was there, but it was the animal cell. Okay. Here because there was no chloroplast here. Here it was a eukaryotic cell, but it was having what? Chloroplast into it. So it was the eukaryotic plant cell, right? So हमने तीनों टाइप के सेल्स प्रोकैरियोटिक सेल भी फॉर्म किया, we have formed a plant cell only, we have also formed what, animal cell only. Okay, now we can give rise to the formation of different what you can say branches of the life. Okay, different branches of life के जो है उसको हम क्या कर सकते, फॉर्म कर सकते, right? So this is one of the theory, that is the symbiotic origin of this different life. Okay, there is also a symbiotic origin of different organelles, we can say. Okay, now there is another theory was also there. Okay, which was the what, mitochondria formation by the invagination. See ये जो mitochondria वगैरह जो earlier we have formed from this aerobic bacteria. Okay, right now it is said that in one of the scientists said that what, only the cell's membrane will like invaginate like this. Okay, and this cell membrane will only further get invaginated. Okay, and this will only form what, this will only form even a mitochondria also. Okay, mitochondria भी किससे फॉर्म हुआ है, सेल मेम्ब्रेन से ही फॉर्म हुआ है, ऐसा बोलेगा ये सेकंड थ्योरी, ठीक है. सो दिस इज आल्सो द टू टाइप्स ऑफ थ्योरी इन व्हिच these different organelles was formed, right? So this was up to the cognogeny. Now we have to see some of the last parts. Okay, last part में क्या है, the experimental evidences in support of the biochemical origin of life. Okay, अभी ये क्या है, whatever is biochemical origin of life we have seen, there are certain experimental evidences were there. Okay, or there were certain evidences were there who were actually supporting this biochemical origin of life. Okay, तो ऐसे कौन से थे, ऐसे कौन से these evidences थे जो कि हमारा जो biochemical origin of life है उसको support करते हैं, ठीक है. So the first one which is supporting this biochemical origin of life is the similar gaseous composition of planets, ठीक है. See ultimately ये theory क्या बोलता है कि primitive composition जो atmosphere का है of the earth, it was having this different ammonia, methane, hydrogen, okay, helium into it, right? So the first point states that this similar, जैसा हम ये जो biochemical origin of life जैसा बोलती है ना कि अर्थ का ऐसा एटमॉस्फेयर होगा, okay, the same kind of atmosphere was formed in the case of the other planets in the galaxy. Okay, गैलेक्सी में जो अदर प्लैनेट्स है जुपिटर के जैसे, उस प्लैनेट को अगर हमने स्टडी किया, then we will find that the atmospheric composition of these planets is also similar to the primitive composition of the earth or primitive atmosphere of the earth. Okay, so इसकी वजह से बोला जाता है कि primitive atmosphere really exists. Okay, because it is already there in some of the planets into the galaxy. Okay, तो यह है पहला proof or evidence in support of this biochemical origin. Second proof क्या है, the experimental synthesis of different organic compounds. Okay, see ये तो हमने Stanley Miller already देखा था. Okay, so what biochemical origin says that this different methane, hydrogen, ammonia, water vapor, electric spark, UV light or other radiation sources will gives rise to the formation of what, different organic compounds like the amino acid, hydrocarbon, carbohydrate, ठीक है. So even it was theory but it was actually proved by what, Stanley Miller's experiment. Okay, Miller's का जो experimental apparatus हमने देखा था, okay, उससे भी ये prove होता है कि हाँ, only because of the this methane, water vapor, hydrogen or even the ammonia and the electric spark, the amino acids gets really synthesized. Okay, so ये भी experiment prove करता है, ठीक है. Along with that there was again Pavlovsky and Pasansky experiment was there. Okay, ये experiment क्या करता है, this experiment also proved the synthesis of amino acid. Okay, so second experiment भी prove करता है कि हाँ, there is a real formation of the amino acid was there, right? There was also again another Bahadur experiment was also there. Okay, Bahadur ने भी एक experiment carry out किया, ठीक है. So उसने क्या, he actually obtained almost mixture of all of the possible amino acid. Okay, उसने तो almost possible, जो कुछ भी possible हो सकते थे amino acid, उन सबका जो mixture है वो form किया था by his experimental setup, right? So out of these three, we are even if it is asked, we can explain this Urey-Miller experiment in detail. Okay, जो हमने already देखा था along with the apparatus. Okay, other we can mention the short. ठीक है. So these were the three experimental synthesis or the support to this experimental evidences of this biochemical origin of life. ठीक है, तो ये हम points इसमें डाल सकते हैं. ठीक है. Now one of the last question is what where this life has been origin. Okay, ये जो पूरा life है उसका origin कहाँ हुआ होगा. ठीक है, obviously in the water, ocean water, but in the tidal zone. ठीक है, जहाँ पर क्या होगा, where there is enough sunlight is there. ठीक है. And also the other unique properties of the water also makes the water one of the best candidate to give rise to the formation of the life. Okay, which are these unique properties? Okay, like it is excellent solvent. Okay, वो बहुत सारे compound को solubilize कर देगा. ठीक है. This protein and nucleic acids are there. They are going to form a particular three dimensional structure into that water. Okay, कुछ three dimensional structure form करेंगे. Protein, nucleic acid. Okay, अगर उन्हें what will happen because of their three dimensional structure? They can show their activity. Okay, क्या होगा three dimensional structure से? वो उनकी activity दे सकेंगे. ठीक है. Another is what lipid bilayer formation in the water. Okay, अगर water में हमने lipid bilayer lipids add कर दिए, then it is going to form this lipid bilayer. Okay, what will be the significance of this lipid bilayer? इसका significance क्या होगा? Now it can act as an what, a sac-like structure which will gives rise to the formation of what, first living cell. ठीक है, तो ये इसका this benefit होगा to form this bilayer. Okay, next is water gives hydrolysis. Okay, hydrolysis भी बहुत सारे compound का करेंगे. Okay, so there can be a breakage, this breakdown of different components may be there because of that hydrolysis. Okay, तो ये भी एक use है water का hydrolysis का, कि hydrolysis क्या करेगा, break कर देगा बहुत से compound को. Okay, next is what, it provides a suitable medium. Okay, see ultimately if you want to mix two solids, okay, two soluble solids अगर हमें mix करने हैं, okay, दो soluble solids अगर है एक दूसरे में mix करने हैं, okay, whether we can directly mix them. Okay, अगर sugar है and if there is suppose salt is there, whether we can directly mix sugar and salt in between. Okay, दोनों के एक दूसरे में मिला सकते हैं क्या, नहीं. Okay, for that what we need a medium. Okay, तो जब हमें मीडियम आएगा तब हम क्या करेंगे, we may add salt into it. सॉल्ट को डिजोल्व कर दो पहले. ओके, उसी में हम क्या करेंगे, देन वी विल ऐड दिस शुगर टू इट. ओके, देन शुगर को मिक्स करेंगे. then only what will happen, sugar and salt can mix in between. Okay, sugar और salt क्या होंगे, mix होंगे. that means what, there will be certain reaction will be there, right, even if it has to be, right. अगर कोई reaction होनी भी है, क्यों कब होगी, जब कोई मीडियम है तो, right. तो ये मीडियम बहुत ही जरूरी है किसके लिए, reaction के लिए, right. so this water provides as a suitable medium for the reaction, right. so this is the part which we are supposed to study for this origin of life. Okay, in the next lecture now we will study about this next part in the evolution chapter, evolution of theories of evolution, right. so if you have any queries on this part you can ask, otherwise we are going to stop our lecture here. Okay, अगर कुछ query है तो पूछो. Okay, अगर नहीं है तो हम क्या करेंगे, लेक्चर यहाँ पर स्टॉप कर देंगे. ठीक है, आई कैन सी देयर इज वन स्टूडेंट लाइव इज देयर. ओके, एक स्टूडेंट लाइव है. ठीक है, जब पूरे स्टूडेंट्स को पता चलेगा ना कि यहाँ पर पूरे सिलेबस पे यूपीएस के जूलॉजी पे हर एक पॉइंट पे एटलीस्ट कुछ ना कुछ यहाँ पर लेक्चर्स ले रहेंगे. ओके, और ये जो वॉट एवर आर नोट्स आर देयर, इट विल रीच मैक्सिमम नंबर ऑफ स्टूडेंट्स. ओके, देन स्लोली व्हाट विल हैपन, जो यूपीएससी जूलॉजी की तरफ आने वाले स्टूडेंट है उनका फ्लो धीरे धीरे बढ़ता जाएगा. ठीक है, बिकॉज अब तक ऐसा कोई भी ऑप्शन नहीं है कि जिसके ऊपर आपको पॉइंट वाइज नोट्स मिले. ठीक है, ये सिर्फ हर एक स्टूडेंट तक पहुंचने के लिए वक्त है थोड़ा. ठीक है, when it will reach we will see the this what we can say, even the numbers are which are live. Okay, पर यहाँ पर कोई नहीं भी हो फिर भी मैं कंटिन्यूसली लेक्चर्स करूंगा. ठीक है, बिकॉज मुझे पता है इसका कभी ना कभी एक दिस रिजल्ट आने वाला है. ठीक है, पर तब तक आने के लिए मुझे पूरा लेक्चर सीरीज कंटिन्यू करना पड़ेगा. ठीक है, सो आई विल नॉट वेट फॉर द स्टूडेंट, आई विल टेक द लेक्चर. Okay, so that the student will get to know that there is a lecture series which is going on every day, right. So as I can see there are no these questions are there, so we are going to stop. We are going to directly meet into the tomorrow's next session at the 11 a.m. till then have a great day. Bye bye.